Okay, so over the last month or so, there has been dozens, if not hundreds, of protests all across the country. Okay, MIT, NYU, UCLA, all of these campuses, University of Michigan, every single major college is going through a movement that is against this genocide, and the police are brutally cracking down on these students that are practicing their First Amendment right in a public place. If you are enrolled in a public university, you are entitled to have freedom of speech, freedom of movement. Just because the freaking college administrator says, oh, you can't protest, that doesn't mean anything because it's publicly funded. Okay. And I think all of these students should sue the schools for sending in these counter protesters that are not even students, and they get beat up. Um, the pro genocide supporters come in there, start agitating, start cursing, start spitting, saying racial slurs, calling people terrorists while being terrorists themselves, punching people, kicking people, hitting people with brass knuckles, baseball bats, um, 2x4s. But the media never covers it. If you look at the coverage of these protests, you see it's entirely one-sided. One-sided coverage. If a pro-Palestine protester even looks at somebody wrong, the media will cover it. But if a pro-genocide supporter just beats somebody up, puts somebody in a hospital, nobody's even covering it. So we're going to watch this video saying high tension between pro-Palestine protesters and Israel supporters on MIT campus. So I'm not sure how long these protests have been going on MIT. Not really sure, but it's reaching every single university. And the funny thing is, the more they try to crack down on these protests, the harder people will continue trying to keep the movement alive. Okay, once they cracked down at UCLA, did that end the movement? No. It just spread to dozens of other universities. And when they try to crack down on those university protests, guess what? It will just spread even more. Okay, so you will never be able to silence the truth about this conflict. You will never be able to silence the truth about how Israel controls our government. Israel is the reason we don't have free healthcare, because instead of spending money on American citizens, we instead spend money fighting these wars on the behalf of Israel. Iraq war, it was it was caused by Israel. It was in Israel's best interest. It's in Israel's best interest to be hostile towards Iran. And their ultimate goal at some point is to get America into a direct conflict with Iran, which will, of course, cause World War III. Now, will Israel fight this war? No, of course not. It will be America spending all the money, firing all the weapons, taking all the casualties. Did you see Israel fight in the Iraq war? No. They were just safely, comfortably in their apartheid state. So we're going to watch this.
Protesters tell me students have started getting suspension emails, and today MIT's chancellor saying any student involved in the encampment here behind me will be disciplined. This comes as tensions are rising between opposing groups here on campus. Pro-Palestine students and protesters.
So let's read some of these signs. It says, MIT, when will you divest from a military that bombs refugee camps? So this isn't a radical statement. Okay, we keep hearing about all these human rights, democracy, freedom for all. They keep saying these buzzwords, saying America is the most moral army. America and Israel is the most moral army in the world. Yet, we are funding a genocide and we are supporting an invasion of Rafah, which isn't even a city. It's a giant refugee camp with millions of people in it, over 1 million people. So these are not radical statements. Okay, these students have a right to protest. These students have a First Amendment right to protest and to be against a foreign state. So now in America, it's becoming more increasingly illegal to criticize a foreign government. And really, Israel isn't a foreign government because Israel is our government. Okay, Israel controls the American government from top to bottom. Okay, it's been that way since at least the 60s, maybe a little bit before, but around that time they've had a complete stranglehold on our government. Okay, and people have had enough. People are like, we're not getting minimum wage increases. We're not getting more jobs. We're not getting real care for our citizens, health care, um fair housing prices. No. But if Congress needs to get together and pass any law, it's always in favor of Israel. It's always in favor of Ukraine. It's always in favor of these foreign governments. Ask yourself why Congress can't come together to benefit the lives of American people, but they can always come together to benefit the lives of Israel. And I think in Israel, each Israeli gets $30,000 a year free of charge. They don't even have to work. Israelis don't even have to work a real job. They can go their entire lives without working. Meanwhile, Americans are working 60-hour weeks and still unable to afford rent. We are being subjugated. America is becoming a feudal state that is ruled by a foreign power. Exactly what our founding fathers wanted us to get away from. But here we are, 250 years later, and nothing has changed. We've gone backwards. We've turned away from freedom of speech. We've turned away from democracy. The will and the approval of the people has been replaced with the will and the approval of a foreign government.
Protesters at the encampment on MIT's campus used red paint to mark handprints on Israeli flags put up just minutes earlier by a group of Jewish students.
I think it's important to show that there's another side, and that's why some students put up an Israeli flag.
Jewish students and supporters secured the flags to the barricades around the encampment.
Now, why in the world would any sane American support Israel? Unless you have dual citizenship, there is no reason whatsoever to support Israel. Israel has done nothing for America, nothing whatsoever. Do they give us money when we're in need? No. Do they help us fight our wars? No. Why do people support Israel? We keep saying Israel is our greatest ally. What have they done besides buy our leaders, steal our country, steal our government, subvert American values? What has Israel done?
Encampment covering pro-Palestinian posters. At one point, police officers removed the paint-covered flags. Students and protesters have been camping out.
So removing flags now. These colleges always preach about free speech, free ideas, free this, free that. They get their students to enroll in these colleges thinking that it will be you'll be able to freely express yourself. But they get in, they sign up for a bunch of debt, and when they actually try to express their free speech, they're threatened, they're expelled, they're suspended, they get accosted, they get attacked, they get assaulted by police. This is our free speech. This is freedom, the First Amendment, where you can't even protest on a freaking college campus, a place of higher education.
On MIT's campus for more than 2 weeks, demanding the administration end research programs with the Israeli government. On Monday, breaking down barricades to get back into the tents after many left under the threat of suspension. Yesterday, MIT said dozens of
So they're always preaching, saying this is anti-Semitic to support a Palestinian state, Palestinian sovereignty, to support any sort of human rights for the Palestinians. Now, Jews are overwhelmingly overrepresented in these pro-Palestine protests, especially young Jews under 35. Okay, overwhelmingly. Okay, there's a lot of supporters that are Jewish that support human rights for the Palestinians. So conflating anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism is just not living in reality.
students are now being suspended for their involvement in the encampment and protests, saying safety is a concern.
Safety is a concern. Safety is a concern. Now, I just uploaded a video of a agitator, a pro-Israel agitator, literally threatening, pushing, assaulting students with brass knuckles right in front of the police, and they do nothing. I just uploaded that video. So who's really unsafe? It's the people that are supporting human rights. It's the people that are against genocide. If you are against genocide in the United States, you will be unsafe. The people that are blindly supporting Israel, they're nice and cozy in their homes, not worrying about a damn thing. Okay, so don't believe this media brainwashing propaganda.
Jewish students at MIT feel the administration should be doing more.
I think it's pretty evident that there's somewhat of an anarchy on campus right now.
Anarchy on campus. So rewind to the 1960s protest against the Vietnam War. They would be saying the same exact thing. Oh, this is anarchy. We need law and order. We can't possibly have people express themselves in a public place or a place of higher education. No, we can't possibly have students actually have opinions about things. No, we gotta censor them. We gotta arrest them. We gotta defame them. This is insane.
Rules can't be enforced. I think the administration started to take a couple of good positive steps.
Now he's smiling. Is this a guy that really feels unsafe when he's smiling? He's smirking. He's almost laughing while he's saying this. Does that look like a guy that feels unsafe? If he was unsafe, he'd be looking around cautiously. He'd be afraid. There's not an ounce of fear in this guy's face.
But it hasn't been enough.
Now, I've reached out to MIT several times over the last few days asking how many students will be suspended and whether the administration has any.
Now, notice they don't even give a perspective for the protesting students. They don't even slightly touch on it. Hey, why are you guys protesting? Why are you guys against this genocide? What? No, they don't ask any of that. They always say the buzzword. Oh, this is chaos. This is anarchy. Oh, we can't have this. They're disruptive. These students need to be suspended. They always jump to conclusions because we know exactly who these media companies are ran by. Okay, we know exactly what entity is running this because Israel has bought our government. It's bought our media. It has control over the entire apparatus of the United States, and anybody within these media entities that speak out and try to do objective journalism, they will lose their jobs very fast. And that's why you're not getting real information. Facebook has already came out and said they're just shadow banning pro-Palestinian people. YouTube, they're shadow, unless you're one of the bigger channels, you're gonna get shadow banned. If you're an average Joe trying to speak out on this issue, you will get shadow banned. TikTok is even shadow banning pro-Palestinians and banning accounts. The even Twitter or X is suspending accounts for being anti-genocide, anti-Israel. And when I say anti-genocide, I mean anti-Israel, because the entire concept of Israel is genocide. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on this. If you guys like the video, like, comment, subscribe.